Please leave it in the chat.
Good.
Thumbs up the video.
Right, so at least the chat's
Many
working,
blessings
and I think
to
I
you
can
too.
see Paul's chat too. So
I appreciate that.
our little experiment
and
worked.
anyone here,
Unlike some of
I know
NASA's
it's
experiments,
biblical.
but we'll talk about that
Good.
with Paul.
all right, so at least the
Because
chat's working, and I think I can
There's
see
a
Paul's
big
chat
movement
too.
of young
so
men, women,
our little experiment works.
especially the younger kids. The older
Unlike
guys are
some
like,
of
"No, we
NASA's
saw it on
experiments,
TV, it
but we'll
definitely
talk
happened."
about that with Paul
But
because
Flat Earth had over 1 million.
there's a big movement of
pings
young
on
men,
Google in 1 month.
women,
a couple of months ago.
especially
It's
the
a
younger
very
kids. The older guys are
important topic that people care about, that they're searching for on their own. They're not doing it because people are making videos. So what I'm curious is, why do people even care what someone believes? You don't have to follow any of these people. And just so you guys know, Jaren's banned from getting his money from PayPal. So if you would like to donate to him, and then we'll ask Paul where you can support him. But it's at Jarenism on Venmo. I donated to him today what we could. And anything helps. Don't feel embarrassed. And if you don't have the means, just support people by sharing out their content and subscribing. By showing them support with the thumbs up button. If we sound good tonight, you guys please thumbs up the video just to let us know that it's going out. When I get Paul live on the stream tonight, I want to know that everything's working properly, so I need you guys' feedback. So if you guys can leave anything in the chat that shows that it's going out, especially when we get Paul on, that would be very helpful. But that's really why I care about. This is a freedom thing. People are always arguing. All these guys on independent media, on the internet, are all free speech, free speech. But if I have a person on that believes maybe the earth isn't round and has evidence for that and can make a good argument, it's not really free speech anymore when you don't want to talk to me because I talked to Paul on the plane. You shouldn't come on. You know, this is what people believe now because you've lied so many times and you're not retracting your lies at all. So we'll talk to him about that, maybe family life, what's going on, why there's so much persecution going on right now of just this idea. And there's a lot of evidence that it probably, there's a good chance that there could be something to it. So let me get this down real quick because, good, Paul's going to be on in 2 minutes so I can stop rambling. But something that is important, hold on, let me open the chat real quick. If you guys end up subscribing to me, any chance, please hit alerts and then email me, thepushfit@gmail.com. We're going to start a new system where when we go live, we just email out that we're doing it because I know alerts aren't going out on my end. I'm glad I got Paul's alerts tonight. I'm glad that's happening. Anyone who supports good, positive people, he doesn't need to have me on or be on my show. He doesn't have to. No one does. So, good. He's going to be on right now, and we're going to have a nice little talk. And if you can't handle that, just tune it out. You don't have to be here. So I'm going to call him 1 second. Let me just make sure the stream's still up and they are not knocking this down. Fine. Good. Hold on real quick. Let me set this up. If you're in the chat, be patient with me. Because I want Paul to plug his own stuff. I don't want to plug for him. I don't want to put words in his mouth. That's something you don't do to another man at all. Unless you really know him. I know him somewhat, but I don't know him well enough to speak for him. So I'm not going to do that. All right, let's give him a call right now. And then let's see if I can blend him onto the stream. Oh. Oh, there we go. That actually looks like a decent camera angle. There he is. Paul, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Let me get you on the stream so other people can see you.
How's my audio and my video?
It looks great. Sounds great on my end.
So I think everything you tried to pull off worked great. Hold on, let me make it seem like if I can make you a little bigger and get me off the screen, that would be nice. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm trying to simulcast it over on my channel, and I think there's an audio delay. So not sure why, but I'll have to work on that for next time.
Nah,
My apologies.
dude, don't apologize on ever. We don't apologize on this channel. Hold on, let me see where I can put this where it'll look good. All right, here we go. That's fine. You know what? Why not there? Because if we disconnect, I don't want people to see your stuff. And hold on. We're good to go though. What's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was just give a shout out over to Zulu One. I was just over on his night school stream. I was over there trolling. He's a good friend of mine. We were going for a record of thumbs down because I'm thinking that the Google algorithms. This goes right with the censorship and the shadow banning and the stuff we're talking about. The algorithms, obviously, certain tags, certain subjects are getting flagged.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, what if we just go on to the stuff we like, that we want to see, and we thumbs down the crap out of it and see if that has the opposite effect?
I think it would make it go higher, to be honest. You remember the Gillette?
That's what I'm thinking.
The Gillette ad that they put out had like millions of thumbs down and was #1 on YouTube forever, And it's like either you're paying a lot of money to make this happen or, or the thumbs down is working. So that trick might work.
That's right. So big shout out to president of the Bigfoot Club, because I believe that was the 20th thumbs down. That was the first goal. And when I left, they were shooting for 30. So
good.
We're going to try and get it to raise it in the ranks.
Well, the funny thing, so I got on YouTube back in, 2011 with this page, right? And it was all about bodybuilding and health. And you could put up almost a video of anything. You could put up a video of your house and it would get 3,000 plays. 6 months later, people could find it with your keywords. It would get millions of plays. I started doing this like 6-7 months ago because everybody was complaining and I was seeing the news articles and I was like, there's a lot of stuff people should know, human experiments and stuff. People can watch this 6 months from now. And then I realized, hey, if people don't see my video in 24 hours, they're not going to see it at all.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Especially if you're talking about things you're talking about.
Well, yeah, we tend to trigger some folks, and I haven't been around this community probably as long as some. Probably 2 years, 2.5 years for me. I know folks that have been around, producing content and being involved in the truth community, if you want to call it that, for many more years.
The not lies community. Sorry to correct that, but I hate that word. Somebody attacked me because I was new and they didn't know who I was. And they were like, how dare you steal the truth community? And I'm like, no one has a monopoly on what's real and what's not real. Either we work together, and because you're selling a book on Amazon of your truth, that doesn't make it real. Like, we're talking about actual issues, whether we're huge or small. We're all just friends,
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, hearing stories of what it was like in 2015, 2016, you could search for whatever that topic is, and the search algorithms worked. I mean, you would find what you're trying to find. Now you got to wade through so much propaganda that it's tough to find what you're looking for. It's really, really odd how things have changed. And they took the scoreboard down when it comes to particularly to the flat Earth subject.
Right.
You used to be able to figure out and see how many videos were titled that or had that in the tags or whatever.
Oh.
And it was climbing. It was going to be higher than Trump. I think it got to #2 all time or whatever for the amount of videos. Yeah. The 2 words, flat Earth. And then so they just ripped the scoreboard down. So now you can't even see how many there are.
How would you get to the scoreboard? Where was that?
Mark Sargent is the one that was following that, from what I understand. So I think he went into the search results, and you could play with like the filters, where you like channel or
gotcha,
all the different things. That's where you could put in keywords and look at videos, and it was in like the tens of millions.
Yeah,
And
no.
they just ripped it down.
Last night when you reached out to me like midstream when I was doing a stream, and I was actually posting an article because of all the bannings that the top search results on Google from this year are still in the tops. I don't know, it's anywhere between 2 and 10 million in just 1 month. So it's like nobody's forcing anyone to search for this stuff, and they were putting it up as, can you believe these people are searching for it? They wouldn't search for it if there wasn't so much content out there. And it's like, no, it's the other way around. They're very curious about where they live, and they want to know if there's anything to this thing they've heard about. And you shouldn't block them from finding that information. Let them make up their own mind.
Right on. Couldn't have said it better myself. There's a reason that, there was so much content being produced on a certain subject. It was people were interested in it. I mean, that at the end of the day, it was people were curious. Whether or not what you believe, that's beside the point.
Right.
The point is that people were interested in discussing it, listening, learning, and then forming an opinion.
Right.
But the powers that should not be, it appears, don't want you to form an opinion on that.
And that's a really telling thing to me. It's like, why does it matter? Like, why would a channel like Jaron get banned right after making a big documentary where he accuses nobody of anything? He says everybody's just there to make money, and they don't know. They're compartmentalized like the Manhattan Project, and they're all in different pieces. They don't know what's going on. Don't blame them. But we should take a deeper look at this, and all of a sudden they just ban his ability to make a living. Why? If it's not that important, just block it, move on with your life. If it's so ridiculous, don't pay any attention to it.
That's right. Yeah, right on. That's, when you see the people that are, what some people would call a troll, whatever, that spend so much of their time trying to cause problems or whatever, it's like, seriously, I just can't relate to those types of people, because if there's a subject that I disagree with, guess what I'm not going to do? I guess I'm not going to go watch that video. I'm not going to go to that live stream. I don't even subscribe to that channel. When they're doing their thing, I won't even know about it.
Right. Well, it's like 1984 right now. It's like, what is it, the 3 or 5 minutes of hate? It's like everything, even you see on TV, is meant to make you upset, make you angry, and make you mad at somebody, so you go and do something about it. And it's like the same, but on YouTube, like, there's freedom, or there should have been freedom, to go find things that you were actually interested in. Like, there were years that I looked into all types of topics like particle physics and anything that I could get my hands on, because it was all free content. Like, why wouldn't you look into these things with great people, professors, people that were just regular guys doing science? Like, it was all very interesting to me, and it seems like that's going away really fast.
It really is, and it seems like it's happening faster and faster.
Yeah.
It's not something like it's exponential. I was going to say, it's not a linear thing where it's just kind of happening and okay, it's not a big deal. When you see it escalate like it has, especially I'd say over the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is, what comes to mind is how many other channels, very, very large channels, hundreds of thousands of subscribers that talk about controversial things. So a lot of times politics or what have you, or just mainstream narrative things.
Yeah.
But they're going, what's going on with this? This particular subject, why is it being censored so much? I need to look into this, because that gets people interested in why there is such a campaign against something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with that. It's because, like, when you ban something or you say you can't look at it, it just makes people want to go look at it even more. And then that creates even a bigger market for the thing you say that you're against. If you were to just ignore it, then it probably wouldn't be that big of an issue. But now the fact, like, you got guys like me that honestly, like, I know on my end, there's a lot of things that don't add up. I've been doing health science for almost 15 years, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but there's a lot of things that don't add up, and people won't even admit that much. And I think for 2 years, even before I believed almost anything completely, I used to just argue with people of why they believed it. I would say I believed in flat Earth. I didn't mean really what I was saying, but I knew the arguments really well, and I wanted to see why they believed that the earth was round. They had nothing to say for years, and I was in a business where I dealt with maybe hundreds of people a day, and they didn't even know how to respond to, why do you believe the earth is a globe?
That's the number one question you ask somebody, I mean, how do you know it's a globe? That's a very good question, and they'll bring up things like, there's pictures from space, seasons, night and day, and all this stuff. And,
right.
If they're curious, how somebody in this day and age could look past that, then you do a little bit of research and find out that a lot of those things are explainable on different models. And then they start looking into the photograph thing. They're like, well, guess what? There's not really photographs at all. And that's kind of what I spend a lot of my time on my channel talking about, is showing how these are computer graphics. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to figure that out, So that's my opinion, but that's where I'm coming from.
I don't think that's your opinion, though. Like, I think that's fact. And I think it's very hard to argue with. They say there's one picture, actual photograph of Earth, right? Am I wrong about that? And then on top of that, sorry for the alert, but on top of the one photograph of Earth, everything's a composite from there. I looked up for almost 2 weeks just the building. Like, we do videos. I used to do commercial real estate, and you take videos of the buildings being built and everything. The greatest feat of mankind would be living in space and orbit and all that kind of stuff. You cannot find one video of the ISS being built. I looked for weeks. It was impossible. It drove me insane. And that's when I was like, you would never pull off the greatest feat in mankind's history and not put it on video. Like, how do you get these large megaton pieces put together in space with a 4-man crew? I mean, you could be like, oh, weightlessness, but like, where's the video? Just show me the tape. You got it, email me, thepushfit@gmail.com. But that's like the easiest argument to have. Like, you don't even have to go deeper than that. That alone should bother you, and if it doesn't...
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think. Common sense, you hope it would prevail. People would be somewhat reasonable and start to question things when these things are brought up. But, there's a big ego thing that's part of that. Just admitting that you've been lied to, that the wool's been pulled over your eyes, that's pretty tough for a lot of people. I get that. And I think what we find is that, you either get confronted with this information and you either react, immediately with anger and you start insulting and doing that sort of thing. But I'd say most people, and there's a few that do that, and that's who we see online, right? Those are the armchair quarterbacks. But most people, when they see that sort of thing, they don't go out online and do a bunch of stuff. No, they start watching and reading and thinking and learning, and they do that on their own time,
Right.
And they do that behind closed doors. They do that at home, and they talk to their wife, they talk to a close friend, somebody they can trust with the information, and they process all this stuff before they come to a decision, whatever that is.
Right.
They don't react violently. That's what most people, handle information that goes against their beliefs, their belief system.
And that's, I've been, for 6 months, my main thing for getting in it was human experiments. It was witnessing child abuse and propaganda aimed at children. That's what really got me back into looking at this. And now we're watching, nonstop PBS, and we're watching, we're going to Mars all the time. We're going to Mars all the time. And it's like, every 4 years they put out an article that says we're going back to the moon, which never happens. And it's like
every president for the last 6 or 8 presidents or whatever said we're going back to moon. That was on that was their campaign. That was on their platform that they ran on. That one of the things that they were going to do if they got elected was get us back to the moon. And those are all the people that got elected.
Yeah. And then you grow up with things that are so insulting when they put on like popsicle sticks, like there was more technology in a greeting card right now than there ever was in a space shuttle. And you're like, you're insulting my intelligence now that I'm grown up, like, can we just have a real discussion about this without anyone getting banned or anyone getting angry? If you have the proof, I'd be glad to change my mind, but I haven't seen the proof. And that's what really bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that particular subject, the shape of the world, that's going pretty deep when it comes to the lies and the deception.
Right.
I think most people come to that because they are researching other subjects like vaccines, GMOs,
right.
just the 9/11, the moon landing hoax, and things like that. It's a path that people, I think, kind of go on because they're awake. They realize that it's okay to question things, and they do their own research. They don't just take everything at face value. They don't just get all their information from CNN or Fox News. They're critical thinkers, and they go on this path, and then they come to that. And sometimes that's too much for people, and it's like, wow, I mean, they lie about this, they lie about that, but they wouldn't lie about the shape of the world. That's kind of like where they have to stop, and that's okay, and it takes people a little bit of time, I think, to get past that. The ones that go and try and do exactly what you said, try and debunk flat Earth, the ones that really go out and say, all right, well, let me test this thing. Let me see how many real pictures of satellites I can find. How many real pictures of Earth, like you said, the ISS. They start doing that, and they start looking at flight paths, from, in the southern hemisphere. And they're doing all this stuff. They're like, and they don't do it online. They do this, this is in their own head. They're like, dang, there's some stuff here. This is crazy. My mind's, just getting blown right now. That's what goes on behind closed doors.
But when you realize of how much things you get lied to about, like we're sitting here watching childhood propaganda on sexualizing a child, and somehow the shape of the world is crazy, but that's okay. Like I can watch porn stars on CNN all day parade around like victims, but the shape of the earth, that's way out of line, you know. God forbid I talk about that with my kid. They'd probably call, somebody on me. It's like, but I can have him I can leave the room for 2 seconds and have him with CNN and he's watching porn stars, and it's like,
Yep.
I don't understand the reaction to it. And the weird reaction I always get is, we went to the moon. I know it because I saw it on TV, and I go, who's we? I've never been anywhere. I've never been to the moon. I've been in an airplane. I can fly airplanes, small. I've been in larger aircraft, but I've never been to the moon. Have you been to the moon?
No, not that I'm aware of, but no.
I mean, but that's the argument. It's, we went, and it's like, it's almost like a mass trauma. It's like, if you don't believe this, you are no longer one of us.
It's we too. That's like what you said. We, it's us. It's the collective. It's the team.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, they went to the moon. That's not how people react. It's like, oh yeah, we went. Yeah, I know we did. Like you said, you saw it on TV. So there you go.
Well, that's, the fun thing is that there's a new we, and it's like, it doesn't matter how big or small anyone is. Like right now, we're still in a time where great people who can like each other can have conversations online. That might not be a forever thing at the rate this thing is going at, and it's good that we can take advantage of it while it's still happening. People think they can't just pull the plug. Since I started doing this channel, I haven't told this to anybody, but I'll tell you about it. It's like, my computer's been shut down. I've been locked out of my Gmail account for 2 weeks about, I couldn't get in whatsoever. Ashamed, like you think you're shaming me by doing that or making me look embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed at all. In fact, I've met a lot of really cool people. That's more important to me than anything, It just sucks when you build a chat and really cool and really smart, informative people that are just lighting up the chat, and it's like they can't even get in. Then I got to get these emails like, oh, did you kick me out? And I'm like, no, I didn't kick you out. I wouldn't do that. It's insane. Yeah. But, I mean, I'm glad you guys are around. If it wasn't for you guys and everybody kind of being so cool, I don't think a lot of people would get out.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I'm just looking over on my stream, so there's like 40-something people there. So I'll call out to everybody that's over on my channel to in the description. I've got the link to this broadcast because I'm simulcasting it from Sean's channel. So head over there and subscribe and like or dislike, because maybe that's the key.
Maybe that might be it.
But react either way. React, and let's do that. So we'll help each other out. So, Sean, I just wanted to let everybody know that's over on my channel that's listening to this, that you had David Weiss on. Was it about a month ago? Maybe 2 months ago now.
2 months ago, probably.
So you guys had a great chat. You're a truth seeker. You are an investigative, a researcher, mostly in the health. That's where your background is, right?
Yeah.
And I know you do a lot of that. So, but the key thing is that what I like about you is, and I've been watching some of your stuff today, You're just a real guy that cares about the truth.
Yeah.
Just cares. And whatever you believe is fine as long as you, first of all, you can back it up.
Right.
I mean, you've got some evidence,
Yeah.
It's not just I saw it on TV. But the second thing is that even if you disagree, you can have a conversation without belittling, arguing, insulting,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. It's okay to disagree. Let's just have a conversation like adults.
Right.
Right.
And that's what's missing, and that's why you're going to see violence. Like, we're literally probably on this stream, if it can grow, whatever. I don't know if they're even going to let that happen, but the whole point is that we can have conversations on things that are contentious topics, and no one has to get upset by it. But if you have better evidence than me, I'll change my mind about it. It's not a problem.
That's right. It's okay to change our mind.
Yeah.
That's one thing that people need to understand. It's okay. New information may come to light, and you may change your perspective on something. That's okay. That's all right.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, so I went through a really hard time when I lost everything. I think it was about 2014. I lost the biggest supplement company. Now it's number 2 in the world. I can't talk about it or the stream gets knocked down. Apparently they have that much power. But I started just questioning the nature of reality. I was always into science and chemistry. And it just, like, kind of led me down this path of, like, just rethinking everything that I was going through at the time and being open to new information. And it's like, I don't think a lot of people take the time to do that. I'm fortunate enough to have the time to read about it and figure it out. But what people don't understand is a lot of these things are going to come to light at some point. And if they make you angry, that's when violence occurs. When the second you can't talk about anything is when you actually see violence happen, banking get taken, control, and freedom. And it's like, I'm watching our freedoms get taken every day. And you guys, like, it could happen to any of us at any time. And it's like,
That's
why?
right.
For what? Because somebody's talking about the shape of the earth. All you have to do is just show us, And I think a lot of us would be happy with that. I would say I'm an agnostic. Like, there's definitely way more evidence that they're lying about a lot of it. I can't say for sure one way or the other. But what I can say is, like, if they would just show us the proof. But millions and millions and millions of people have looked at your stuff, other people's stuff, and for a long time. And they haven't even attempted to put out anything. And that's what really boggles my mind. You would think that would be the first thing they would do.
Yeah, this thing could have been over a long time ago when it comes to this subject.
Yeah.
If certain things, would have that somebody that's kind of defending the globe, if they had their way, this thing would have been shut down real quickly. They would have provided that evidence like you're talking about. In my belief, they can't, which is why they haven't.
And that's what I think.
And so the only way to slow this thing down is to screw them around with this stuff, is to mess with this, because this is how we all communicate now,
Right.
with these platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and that sort of thing. So they've got to slow that down. And then, just last week or two, the seriousness of coming out and saying things against the mainstream narrative.
Yeah.
Now, potentially, we could be looked at as domestic terrorists.
For what? Having a conversation and a peaceful. We don't even live in the same time zone. Like, what are we doing? Whipping people up? We're trying to calm them down by going, listen, we think about these things too. We're normal guys. Like, we both get up and go to work, and then we can sit here and talk about it at night. And now you can feel better knowing that other people have the same thought as you.
We're dangerous. I mean, we've got families, we've got children, so we have people that we are influencing, right? And that's the problem, is
Right.
that the government, quote unquote, the powers, don't believe that people can think for themselves.
Yeah.
We will tell you what to think and what to do,
Right.
and you can't get your information from anywhere else but us. And if you try to, you're dangerous. You're dangerous to yourself. You're dangerous to other people. That's the message that I'm hearing.
And I think I'm hearing the exact same message. I never took more heat than when I said publicly I'm Christian. I'm not one of the best Christians. I'm not ever claiming to know, the best thing to do in any situation, but publicly just saying I was a Christian, publicly talking about the flat earth, and then publicly talking about being anti-war and anti-violence. And then I took the most heat for those things, and it's like the information. I'm not doing it to scare anybody. I'm just pointing out what is happening so you can adjust your life accordingly. Like, I had someone follow me for 3 months because I showed the experiment they did where they dumped lithium in the drinking water in Texas, and didn't tell anybody about it. And then they studied the people to see how they would react. And the person was like, well, I'm on lithium. What's wrong with lithium? And you're like, nothing is wrong with lithium. It's like, what's wrong is they're poisoning the water for the other people, and you're taking triple the dose you should be now, and they didn't tell you about it. That's the problem, not the thing that you needed help for. And it's really, people really internalize me, and they don't think about the bigger picture or the control that they're giving up or the freedoms that they're giving up by saying, oh yeah, he's crazy, just ban him. Okay, well, you're next.
That's right. That's right. And I love what you say about, you gotta support what you love. You gotta make sure that you are putting your focus there, because if you don't support what you love, it's going to be gone eventually. Yeah. So I try to, support as much as I can, as time allows, to support newer channels or new stuff that's coming along where I think somebody's, doing some good stuff. We got to support each other and share and, subscribe and comment and do what we can to help promote each other, because if we don't do that, they want us separate, fighting against each other and distracted and all that sort of thing. Right. They don't want us coming together for a common goal or a common purpose, because we outnumber them.
Of course, by a lot.
We outnumber them. And if enough of us get serious, they know that it's going to be a problem.
That's why I had Dr. E. Michael Jones on. I was lucky enough to do that. I don't know why he said yeah, and he did it. But we were talking about eugenics and you getting, you have as many, the St. Augustine quote, you have as many masters as you have vices, and controlling yourself or other people will control you. And it's so obviously they're getting you to do it. No one's imposing anything on you. You can live your life the way you want to live your life. But, you let the control happen. You let them take your freedoms from you. You're the one that's not standing up. And there's a lot more of you than there is of anyone who wants to control you. And just by you not opening your mouth and speaking words, it's letting it happen,
That's right. Silence is consent.
Yeah.
That's another kind of catchphrase, but cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing anything about it, even just talking to your family or talking to your children, and when people ask me, how do you talk to your kids or whatever about some of these subjects, I don't say it's you believe what I believe or you're out sort of thing. It's right. Like, I just want you to question things. I want you to think critically. I want you to do your own research. I want you to come to your own opinion after you've done the work. I don't, that sort of thing. So, is my household a flat earth household only? No, they see both sides,
right.
And the school system handles a side of that for me very, very well,
right.
And I just try to create a balance. And I say, here's something else. Whatever they end up doing with that information, that's up to them.
Well, the funny thing, it's like if they were I grew up in Florida and I grew up watching the space shuttle. I've watched it launch plenty of times, and it's like I have a kid and I see it through different eyes, and I'm watching cartoons with him, and it's like the least you could do is be informative and honest if this is true, and tell him why we really had a space program, that it was really about missiles, it was really about a Cold War with Russia, it was really about spending money on weapons. But no, they don't do that. They just tell him he's going to Mars one day and we did this for peace for all of mankind. Meanwhile, that wasn't the reason historically why they say they did all the things that they did before they started launching nukes straight up in the air. But a lot of people, it's like history is being erased, History channels got knocked off YouTube. For what? And that's why I was like, I'm going to go full-fledged. I'm going to dump whatever I can to get my message out. And if people like it, cool. If not, thumbs down. My thumbs up to thumbs down ratio is so astronomical that you would think I would be a top channel. Instead, I'm buried and you can't even find me anymore. And same, it's like if Dave didn't point out your channel and then Dave pointed out another channel that is even bigger, and I'm like, how have I never heard of this person? I've looked into this subject before. They should have been the first person I saw. They had over 1 million views,
Yep.
And everything was positive and it was very informative, and he linked me up with the person, and it's like, this isn't fair, and it's not only not fair, but it's tyranny. And on top of the tyranny, now when you take away people's ability to provide for their family, you're just setting the example to scare the rest of us into saying nothing, and that's not going to happen, you know? And so I guess we're going to have to see how it plays out, but I don't think that any of us are going away quietly at any point in time. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm going to continue to talk about what I talk about.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we talk about that a lot, you know, the circles that we run in, you know, what happens when YouTube is, you know, completely censored where you can't even upload.
Yeah.
You know how you upload something now and, you know, the algorithms immediately are checking for copyright matches, you know, for music or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, how long until that is so sophisticated that the subjects or, you know, what is spoken about is going to be flagged and not even allowed to upload. I mean, it could get to the point to where, you know, we couldn't really even have this conversation because if, you know, you tag or have a title of a video you want to do or whatever, or a stream, you know, they might even let you go live because of a certain word or a subject that you plan to talk about. Yeah. Is that a possibility? I think it could be.
No, I mean, I know it for a fact. I mean, look, so for the first 4 months, you know, I didn't really have a huge audience. And it just started growing as more people started liking me and wanting to come on. And it was really just word of mouth and people being organic and stuff like that and just coming on. And then people would follow me from that. And the whole first 4 months was just testing out what you couldn't say. So, like, I would say things like chemtrails and I would say things like sun dimming. And I would do that repeatedly to see what would get flagged and what wouldn't. I could say sun dimming all day and I wouldn't get a tag. I said chemtrails a couple of times and all of a sudden this is a conspiracy theorist comes from either Wikipedia or Encyclopedia Britannica pops up under my video. Meanwhile, I'm showing mainstream articles where they're saying they're doing it, you know, and it's like, I'm so infuriated by it because it's like, why don't you show the Harvard website with Dr. David Keith and then tell me, you know, how I'm wrong about this. Let's talk about this. Let's not put a label on me so people automatically just dismiss me. It's like Snopes. I show on Snopes, it'll be like debunked. And then if you read to the very bottom, the way they word it, they just word it a little. They didn't actually take her kids because she said the vaccines are bad. They took it because she said that and because she said there were things in the sky. But at the top,
Snopes.
Nobody
Snopes.
will. I
Snopes.
know.
I'm starting to see that on Facebook now. You know, when somebody shares something, you know, it's like fact check or whatever comes up, and they've got their thing that says, you know, underneath it that said, you know, there's a meme going around that claims this or that, but that's not true, and then it links or talks about Snopes, and I'm just facepalm. Like, oh my gosh, you know, all my stuff I put out about the moon landing, you know, if you look at the video, it's got the Encyclopedia Britannica banner underneath it with all of the propaganda about the moon landing. So this is all just in the last, you know, few years, guys, or not even that, maybe the last year. We definitely have somebody's attention. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I don't get, like, I would do it on purpose because I didn't believe people. I thought that since I was like, listen, I've done YouTube before. I've got millions of views. I had to take the videos down. The rules changed. No problem. I'll leave some of it up so people can see who I used to be and why I used to do it so no one thinks I'm a liar, you know? And I was like, I'll just put some videos up. They'll get some plays over time. And quickly, I found out how bad it was. Like, it didn't even take a month before I'm getting, your payment has been declined. You are now locked out. And I'm like, I'm not paying anything, you know? And it's like, gosh. And it's hysterical. And so what I started doing, and this was a fun experiment, and I would use it all as an experiment, is I'd pick a really a bulletproof argument topic, like, let's say sun dimming. You know, other people call it chemtrails, but sun dimming. And I would show all the articles. I would show the words out of their own mouth, and I would show everything. And then what I would do is I would take $2 and try to advertise it to people that I thought would hate the video, you know, to see if I could get thumbs down and stuff like that. And they would reject it because they would consider that shocking. And I'm like, I just laid out the argument that's in the mainstream. How is that shocking? And I'm pretty sure after my video, they're going to show another video telling you how I'm wrong about the entire thing and how what you just saw was a lie.
That's right. Yeah. The deck is stacked against us. Obviously, the way the system is set up now that, you know, the next video, the recommended one that other people are going to see, you know, It's going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be the propaganda piece. It's going to be the mainstream narrative. And I remember when I first started researching a lot of these subjects, and the shape of the world being, the main one. The next video that came up was another content producer that had another spin on it with other research and that sort of thing. And so you could literally, like Netflix, you would just be going just video after video after video, auto playing, all this great stuff.
Right.
Now, if you do find a video that goes against the mainstream narrative, the next video is going to be a piece by National Geographic. It's going to be a piece by, CNN or whatever. It's going to be mainstream stuff, and it's just going to kick over all of those. I mean, it's just very simple. They changed it. They're like, well, this is getting out of hand. People are seeing too much of this stuff. We can't just totally block it all overnight. We've got to slowly change how the system works so that we can keep this from getting too big too quickly. That's how I feel is what they're planning to do.
And no, I agree with you. And I think banding together, and I think it's awesome, like people like you, people like Weiss, people like the people that helped me, the Christians that came on the show that have a much bigger following. They understand that it's like putting your message everywhere right now is much safer than having it all in one place and you wake up tomorrow and it's all gone. Like all of my content's backed up to a thumb drive. I guess I'll get it back up. That's why I advise people to email me. They don't know how many times, PBS sued me for playing a science clip that they put up that I did commentary over. I got a lawsuit from PBS my second month doing this because I was showing the harms of atrazine that they buried for 10 years when the guy came back out public and could publish his work. PBS, the ones that we pay for, sued me for showing that clip. And I was like, okay, now I get it. Like, this is the real world now.
Wow. Yeah. Welcome to the 21st century when it comes to free speech.
Yeah.
Hashtag modern day book burning, as Crow 777 likes to say. This is how they handle it now. You're going to get, the more you put yourself out there and the closer you are over the target, the more you're going to be facing this garbage. And it's meant to distract you, and it's meant to deflate you. So where you're just like, it's just not worth it anymore. It's a battle of attrition. They hope you just eventually give up.
That's what they're hoping for, I think, because, bigger channels have been responding to me personally lately, and I'm much smaller than they are. And I'm like, why do they even know about me? Well, how do they know I even exist? Because I attacked them by name. I went for them personally because they were lying. And it's like, I didn't attack their person. I attacked what they were saying. But it's like, why would you do a video if I'm so inconsequential that I have almost no viewership? How does that make any sense?
If this is so stupid, and it's you must have flunked kindergarten if you think this stuff,
right?
Or if you're researching it, then why do you even care, right? I mean, we have some of the craziest stuff on YouTube. The craziest stuff. And some stuff is so bad.
Right.
It's so bad. I'm talking about as in evil.
Evil. Pure evil.
And it's and you can find it just like that. But if you question, when you start putting out information about experiments,
right,
that I'm doing in my own home or that anybody can do that question the shape of the world, and you're getting censored.
Right. And the thing that really woke me up is 2014, I was writing books on the chemistry of chemicals that men and women could take as bodybuilders. I used to train bodybuilders, and they came after me for that. They did a smear on me for that. They almost tried to ruin my life for that. And then 5 years later, what we're doing after that, Weiss can probably look up all the articles. And it's like, 5 years later, we're recommending those things that I was against even back then to kids now. And it's like, you don't even need parental consent. And we live in probably, I don't know what state you live in, but I'm sure the freedoms there are almost the same as they are here at this point in time. Where you just have to utter the words, I think I'm this today, and they don't even have to contact the parents. And that's when I really was like, someone's got to say something about something.
Yeah. I'm in Washington, so the state, not D.C., but which is probably the where the swamp really is. That's where it starts. But over on the other Washington, the other coast.
Yeah.
But up here, it's not. I'd say it's kind of middle of the road when it comes to a lot of that stuff. Like California and the laws and that sort of thing. We see all of that. Oregon is pretty out there. I mean, when it comes to being a police state, if you will, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking mainly because I have a young child, and so vaccines are something that my wife and I are discussing a lot.
We all should. We all should talk about it. What's wrong with talking about it? Like,
That's right.
what? So I want to. So the story, real quick, and I had E. Michael Jones say the same story, but I never told my story. Is it's like we went to the doctor with Danny, and they were like, she's not really into health until she met me, and they were like, we went there for some problem she had with her asthma, and they're like, you want to take the flu shot, and she's like, I don't know, and I'm like, no, and they're like, why don't you take the flu shot? And she's like, I don't know, and I was like, they're like, take the flu shot. She's like, and I stepped in. I go, okay, she'll take the flu shot. Just give us the insert. Well, I just want to read it real quick. And the nurse literally
Good
said,
for you.
She
Good
said,
for you.
she said, never mind, that's okay. You guys don't even have to worry about it. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it, And it's like no one knows they
Wow.
have the right to even read, and that's what they want to do. Like I show articles all the time that like half the population can't even read anymore. So like with our kid, all we try to teach him how to do is think on his own, read, and know math. And then after that, whatever comes from that comes from that. But
Yeah.
you can't make up your own mind if you can't even read the words, And I
That's
had
right.
a kid that they said had autism for when I first adopted him, and I got him at 5, and it's like he's perfectly fine now. And they lied, and they had him on tons of medication. So I'm a living proof of that. I tell my story all the time, and it's like, believe me or don't, I don't care. But at the same time, like, why can't we talk about this? Why do people, when they come out and say, oh, this happened or that happened to my child, why are they the bad guy? Why are they getting banned? Why is there no sympathy for them whatsoever at all? But other people get sympathy for nonsense.
Right on. Right on. I think anybody that's really honest with themselves that sees this going on has got to, I would think that there would be alarm bells going off in your head that would say, that's not right. Why are they doing that? Maybe I need to know more about this. Maybe there's some truth there, because that's what happened to me. And that's all I could relate to when I started, when people started saying, oh, there was, 9/11 was an inside job.
Right.
I was like, what? How could people think that?
Right.
Let me do some research. I didn't just say that's a bunch of, crap and get all triggered. I mean, it's all about being willing to question things. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that these days. But the ones that are the ones that are waking up to this thing.
Well, the worst thing that happens when you question it is you just find out that everything is the way that you thought that it was. What's wrong with asking the questions? Like in 9/11, when that happened, I was right next to George Bush. I was 5 miles away. I was in Florida at the time. He was at Booker High School. I went to a high school near there. And it's like they wheeled the TV in just in time to show us the second plane hit. Now, the reason I don't go into things like that, because I can't prove it one way or the other. And it's something that people have spent years on, and I wouldn't want to start doing that. It's not really my wheelhouse. But so, like, this is a question, though, because I don't know if you want to talk about this now or maybe talk about it later, whenever you have time, whatever. But why do you, like, there's a great group of people. You guys are probably, like, the most fun. Like, I think it's hysterical. Like, I don't know why people don't get that. Like, it's just funny to argue with people that don't have answers for anything, Like, it's funny. Like, and everyone has a great sense of humor about it, right? But it's like, I get it. I get all the lies. And if some of it's a lie, I can get how all of it's a lie. And it's this mass trauma that's been, perpetrated on people. I get that. But why is it the focal point? Because everyone I talk to knows about all these other issues, at least on a surface level. They may not know the chemical compounds, but they know what they do. They know everything else that's going on. Why do you think that the shape of the earth is the ultimate thing that people really spend the time on?
Yeah. Why is that the one that probably, at least in my opinion, has evoked the most anger?
Is that what it is?
Or, where I've seen, I don't know if anger is the right word, just pure frustration. I think people, I'm trying to think who told me this analogy. This is a really good question. There's probably 10 different answers, and they all probably are all feed into the same reasoning. You know what I mean?
And if you don't want to answer it, we could talk about it when you have more time.
Well, the way that I heard this analogy, and it made sense to me. If somebody walked up to you today, Sean, on the street, and let's say whether it's somebody you don't even know, okay, just a stranger, and they came up to you and they knew that, like, hey, Sean, you don't know me, but I'm so and so. Your mother, the person you think that's your mother, that you think is your mother, that's not your mother.
Right.
What would you do?
I don't know. At first, I probably wouldn't believe them.
Yeah. And if they kept pressing and then started saying bad things about her, I mean, people would get so frustrated that they would want to punch you out.
Yeah.
I mean, you would just go crazy. I mean, and that's basically, I think, what happens to a lot of people. That's how they feel when you come in there and you say what you think you live on, what you think you have known since the day as far back as you could remember. This is a part of you. It's part of your being. And you're telling me that that's not right. That's basically like you telling me that person is not my mom. I mean, that's how I'm going to react. I'm going to get so frustrated. I'm going to get so concerned, and I'm going to react violently because you're threatening something so deep, something so deeply held within my person that that's why I think some people get triggered. So I think the ones that react the most violently are the ones that hold those beliefs the dearest, right? They are so, I would say, indoctrinated.
It
I
is,
hate
though.
that word is
It
overused.
It is overused, but it's a very accurate word.
They are so deep in their beliefs, and it's a belief. The globe is a theory,
right?
And flat Earth. These are theories.
Black holes are a theory, all that, and they present it as real life. And people don't even know what a theory is, and that's why I started doing the show.
They're taught it's a fact.
Right.
But we're taught it's a fact, and that's what we just are trying to get people across to say, no, it's a theory.
Right.
There are things that you can see that happen, and you could correlate that, with the shape of the world being like that. It's a theory, though. There's no way that you or I can go validate that right now. But anyway, back to your original point. I feel like I was kind of rambling there.
No.
I think people get so frustrated with this topic. It's because you basically came up and told them that that's not their mom.
But I think also what you're telling them is that they're special, and the people that lied to them are keeping away from them that they're special, because that is the belief system. It's you're on a spinning globe, there's millions of stars, you're a speck of dust, there's all these galaxies, there's nothingness, that's what you're going to turn into. And these other people, they don't know that scientists have made decisions along the way to have a favored position or not have a favored position, and they just hated having a favored position, so they just made up other theories to stack on top of those. They had no idea.
Sure.
The pictures of the Earth, like the universal stuff, and all the things that came out prior to us going to outer space, if that happened, was already out. So what were they going to change everything if they found out?
Oh, by the way, we were wrong. Yeah, exactly. It is that, you combine something that's a deeply held belief in people. You combine the fact that you're basically saying that you've been fooled. That's a real ego shot, especially for us guys, right? We have very big egos, and somebody said you've been lied to, and I figured it out before you. Some people just aren't able, I think. It just has to be what they were told, the globe. It just has to be a globe for them because that's how they define themselves to the world. And so it's going to remain that way. They're not willing to even go there.
But the weird thing, so like if you take any subject, history, math, science, a scientific method, I don't mean globe or whatever, it's like all those things you learn a base form and you grow on them, whether you go to middle school, high school, college, master's, PhD. But it seems like a lot of the people just after a certain age of, elementary school no longer even talk about why the Earth is a globe anymore. It's like they're not building on that and learning more about it. It's just like, this is what it is, kids. Enjoy. And it's like, why now that you're an adult can you not revisit that belief system and say, hey, listen, I'm going to prove this to myself. I'm going to prove why, like where I live is the most important question to me because we all work nonstop. It's almost like wage slavery. We're all caught up in this world. We're always in a rush. And no one ever thinks about the state of where we actually live, like our health, why we live the way we live. And these are very important questions that people think on. And it's like they almost don't give us enough time to even try to think about why we live on this planet.
You're right on. And then the only other thing I would add to all that is, you got the belief system and you've got the ego thing. And then, if we aren't an accident, right? If because the heliocentric model, that's all based in the evolutionary theory and it all kind of has to wrap together. So if we if we aren't an accident, that means that we were created.
Right.
That means that, and if we are created, then we have a purpose. That means that there's a creator, and the creator probably has rules, and that changes everything. When it wasn't just a free for all anymore, now maybe there's some guidelines that I have to follow, and I need to pay attention to this stuff. And
right.
You combine all that together, and people react violently. It can't be flat. It has to be a globe. It has to be, because otherwise I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go crazy, because everything I thought I knew about this world is a lie then. It's just too much.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if you tackle it one step at a time, I mean, I know people go right for the flat earth. I get it. I understand it's shocking at first, and then it sucks you in. I've been a part of that, I watched Jaron since he was on his cell phone working at like a pharmaceutical store, and when he quit, and then I watched the whole progression of what he did, right up until him getting banned and him not being able to provide for his family. And I hope people support him at Jaronism on Venmo. Just like anybody. I hope that's why there's a community, because if something bad happens to somebody, and
that's
whether
right.
we agree fully with them or not, which I think is a cop-out to say that, but just that they're a good person and you think they're a good person, help them out, whether they're just in the chat, whether there's somebody here. That's the point of having good chats and communities and things like that.
That's right. That's right. And I love these types of chats like we're having right now. And I can't believe it's already been almost an hour.
Oh, man.
So we want to wrap up. But
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that people on my channel that get exposed to you and your work, so hopefully they've gone over and subscribed. But maybe take a couple of minutes. So for the people that are watching from my on my side, to get to know you, kind of what's your what are you doing, and what's your specialty, and what can they expect from you, and kind of give a little commercial
right now. What we're working on right now, honestly.
Put you on the spot.
No, well, we did. So for the first 6 months, what I did was I was experimenting. I was trying to figure out what you could and couldn't say, if censorship was or wasn't real. I talked about scientific things that I knew. I put it out to people I thought wouldn't like it. Eventually, it got a following, and people started liking it, and people started coming on. So we have a new show, I guess a stream. I don't know. I mean, I'm meeting really cool people that's coming out, that I'm working with people that really want to influence culture back to Christianity, back to science actually working for humans instead of just profiteering off of them. Someone who worked for the FDA is going to be co-hosting with me from time to time. Other cool people that are in politics that are, because, let's say everything we're saying is true. That's a huge shock, That's a big chunk of the quote-unquote fake money economy that we're talking about here, So I like to have people on that have good ideas of what would rise out of that if everything were to come out one day. Because something else I want to point out of why I like this topic so much, or Flat Earth or NASA or any of that, is it's because all day, when I was looking into things and reading books nonstop, which it's not just about videos, read the books, look up the sources, we encourage you to. It's not a trick. But it's I got into people believe in aliens. Ancient Aliens used to get 2 million views on TV. That's what people believe. And now they're pushing it so hard, and I've looked so deep into it, and it's I see nothing but firsthand accounts and a couple of sketchy drawings that anyone could have put together. I've seen no proof of that whatsoever. And if you believe the earth is flat or there's a firmament or any of that stuff, you don't have to believe in the alien thing that they've already presented. I show the clips of it on my show all the time. We would be one unified, one world order if, the aliens came down, and it's that's what they want you to believe. So, I'm dealing with really cool people and lining up guests. One's going to be on for a full series, and just anyone like you who would like to come on, present anything, freedom of speech, and just any ideas that are impactful or can help young men. And we are very anti-violence, anti-war. We want to talk out issues. Even if you disagree with me, you can email me, thepushfit@gmail.com. I'll help out smaller channels the way they've helped me out. I don't mind. There's no channel too small. So we're going to put something together, though, and try to actually move the culture forward. And you guys are doing a great job on your own. You're already doing so much. I can't really add much to it other than the other things on the outside of that.
Well, you're a breath of fresh air. There's people out there like you, and I want to, we all want to connect and make sure that we stay, in contact because you're out there and you're real and want to talk about stuff that they don't want us talking about. You know? And so if there's something that they don't want us talking about, then that's what we should probably be talking about and looking into because there's a reason they don't want it to be talked about. So let's keep that in mind. And that's why I want to talk about this stuff is because we're not supposed to.
Yeah, but one thing I want to point out is because I've met a lot of really, or at least talked to a lot of top flat Earth kind of people. I know you got to leave, but it's like the information you guys know on top of just what you present, to the public. It's like the level of understanding and education. I have much more fun talking to you guys than I do some people that, just leave random hate comments on my stuff all the time, that they're so educated and I'm so crazy for having you on. Like, how do I even walk down the stairs, And it's like, I would much rather do this all day than, any of that. You guys make it fun. I love what you guys have going on.
Well,
awesome.
Thanks. And no, it's, yeah. Yeah, that comes with the territory for sure. It's just and hats off to you for being willing to have a guy like me or David Weiss, on your channel because some people aren't willing to do that because it's just too far out there for them. They're just not willing to do it. They don't want to threaten what they have and their reputation or whatever. So, love you, brother. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, man, you too, and you keep up the great work, man. And like I've told Dave, anytime you guys feel like interrupting, anytime, you're always welcome on. If you have anything to back up, send it my way. That's why the channel was created, was so people could get ideas out. If you don't like it, you don't have to unsub. Just comment why you don't like it. Leave a rebuttal to what you believe, and then other people can leave rebuttals to that. Start a conversation. That's all it's about.
Conversation.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
If we don't talk, that's when violence
Let's talk
starts.
like adults.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Good stuff, man. So anyway, hey, thanks for setting this up. It was awesome, and maybe we'll do something again real soon.
Yeah, no, man, it's up anytime.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, anytime.
Next time.
You just let me know, man. I appreciate it, and thank you so much, brother.
Cool. All right, everybody that's watching, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for all the support, and head over to Sean's channel, like, share, subscribe, keep tabs on what he's doing, and join the conversation. Make sure that you are supporting him as well. So thanks, everybody, for being here. We love you. And as I tell my guys, stay flat.
Fair enough. And I appreciate that. And anybody who's never been exposed to Paul on the Plane, please subscribe to the channel. If you guys are scared to thumbs up videos and share them out, they know what you're watching anyway. Trust me. I've worked
thumbs
in the
down.
business.
You can thumbs down, too.
Yeah,
that might be the key. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Just react.
Yeah, just be interactive whatsoever at all, whether you care or don't care. But don't think that these people have an idea that they don't know what you're watching. They do. Just support what you like or it goes away. And that's a fact. Right. And we're seeing it in real time right now. Like, this is not a hoax. I don't know Jaron. This is our first time meeting and talking. He didn't know Dave till I just met him. And it's like, like none of it's a hoax. It's really happening. They're taking freedoms away left and right for what? It's an idea that you can't compete with. And it's like, just compete with the idea. It's a free market. If you have a video to put out, make a rebuttal. And now there's a market open for you. But don't ban people. You're insane for that.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Good job. Keep up the great work.
You as well, my friend. And I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon, for sure.
All right, my friend. Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you, bud.
Nope, thank you.
All right, let me hang up with it. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I love chats like that. And he's welcome on anytime. Dave's welcome on anytime. And if you do subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate him for saying that, please just turn on alerts. We care about the chat a lot and what you guys have to say, the responses you guys have. And the email is always on the screen, thepushfit@gmail.com. If you only follow me, please follow Paul on the Plane. I am going to try to promote the video. We'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know the outcome. I do have an announcement on Sunday. I kind of broke it a little early to him, but I didn't say names. And there's a couple of people that I didn't break names on yet. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. Stay blessed. He said stay flat. I'm going to say stay blessed. And I made a new friend tonight. We can all make new friends. That's why we care about the chat, and I appreciate you guys. So We're going to let HD, I guess he changed his name, at HD Brando take us out, because I like to support people that have supported the show. And, you know, thank you guys for subscribing and being a part of all this stuff. And it's been an amazing time, and I really very much appreciate you guys, because we wouldn't have done this show full time without the interaction, you guys emailing and you guys participating. So we got a great show lined up for you guys. And hopefully we'll announce it Sunday. If not, we'll announce it into next week when it's set up right. But shout out to Paul on the plane. Have a great night, guys.